is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds like 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Sindrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in on a beautiful Tuesday in Nashville, Tennessee. I know what you're thinking. What's the sport code about? Well, basically, it's a function after the show, but the amount of crap that I have caught about this is really unfair. It's a nice sport coat. I paid for it. Both of those questions have come into question from one Coach Watson Brown. Let's bring him up as we call roll on the show. Watson, you should be ashamed of some of what you put out there in the last 5-10 minutes. It's shameful.
Well, I just told you what it reminded me of. It looks like something I wore every day back when I had to go speak at the Commodore clubs back in the 80s, George. That's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I think what you're insinuating is that it's cheap, because I saw some of that stuff you wore.
No, I'm just saying if it's nice, which I can't really see it. I promise you didn't pay for it.
Somebody paid for it.
Huh?
I did pay for it.
You did pay for it?
Sure did.
Was it one of those blue light specials that you stand in line late at night at Walmart and run through the doors to get into the back to see if you can get to the coat before anybody else got it?
It was like the old family bootery. 3 for $1 plus $1.
That makes sense. I get it. I get it. What do the other two look like?
Not so good.
Not so good.
Look,
you got the best one on right now.
Yeah, this is about as good as it's going to get. So enjoy. It's an upgrade. It's not one that will last for any length of time. But, I'm glad that it really got under your skin the way it did.
No, it just brought back memories. That's all. Wasn't getting under my skin. It brought back memories.
This is better than that stuff you wore back in Vandy.
I bet I had 1,000 black and gold ties that would go with that jacket right there.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Send me one.
Huh?
Send me
one.
Yeah,
you'd probably wear them. It'd go well with it. So.
Are they big old wide ties?
Yeah. That was the 80s.
I got one of those from an uncle who will remain nameless at graduation. And I went to my mom and I said, what the hell do I do with this thing? She said, just hide it in the closet.
It'll come back. Put it away and it'll come back. Look at how the jacket matches the Vanderbilt helmet in the background.
Oh yeah,
so,
it really brings out that black and gold back there.
It's what I wore. If he had one of my black and gold ties, it would be perfect.
I can see a younger
Perfect match. Go Doors.
I can see a younger Watson Brown wearing that. No doubt.
Absolutely. You should have seen all the little pretty ties I had, Billy, back in those days.
They were all free because you got them from some clothing deal off your coach's show.
Well, there were many of them bought at the Oxford shop. I would say that.
You made a lot of money back then.
Yeah, a whole lot. It's proof's in the pudding, isn't it, George?
No question it is. Let's now very quickly, after this touchy subject, check in. Oh, Billy, how are you? Great. Fine. Thank you.
I'm doing great, George.
That's wonderful.
Whatever.
Let's say hello to Terry McCormick, who has today's Yankee update. Terry, how are you?
Good, George. I was listening to the whole conversation about the sport code. I
Okay.
thought maybe you'd acquired it through a trade out in advertising. Radio people want to do that at times.
That's possible.
Terry, here's the difference. In my bankruptcy days of WTN, I'm the only person that wasn't on the take. I'm honest as the day is long.
That's your fault.
Good comment. So, Terry, is Aaron Judge going to get this done? Yankees have already played today. He didn't hit a homer. What's going to happen?
Doubleheader. They had a doubleheader, so they play tonight at 7:00, I believe, and then they play a day game tomorrow. So he's got 2 shots at it.
And you and the child considered going.
We did. We considered going to tomorrow's game, but a 10-hour trip doesn't sound like something I want to do in a car, and paying, $1,500 in airplane fees to get us down there doesn't sound like something I want to do either.
Do you have the extra innings package?
I do.
Okay, because I was going to invite you over. I wish Watson would have done that for you, but you don't hear a peep out of him.
I don't have the extra innings package.
That's because you're too cheap.
No, I don't watch that much baseball.
Okay.
You two are the baseball junkies. I'm a baseball guy, but not a junkie.
Right. There's a difference. Terry, let's get into Watson's line of work, which is football. Titans football. This is an off day, so what's the big news?
Well, George, they actually have made a flurry of roster moves here, and a little bit of an interesting situation. The guy that they have added to their 53-man roster is up from the practice squad. It is Sam Okwanu, who is an undrafted rookie out of Maryland, and he has been promoted to the 53-man roster. He is a defensive lineman, which is a little bit interesting because the defensive line is one of the few places where they've not had a whole lot of injuries thus far this year. So makes you wonder if there's something going on with somebody maybe having something that came out of the game, maybe that wasn't immediately known or disclosed. A couple of other things that they did, Julius Chestnut, who was let go last week before the game to create a roster spot, has been signed back to the practice squad, along with defensive back Shaheem Carter. And then they let go of Wyatt Ray from the roster, and Christian DeLauro, an offensive lineman, from the practice squad. The Wyatt Ray move, try saying that 3 times real fast, appears to be maybe that some good news in that maybe Bud Dupree's injury might not be as serious as first thought when he left the game and didn't come back. So maybe that's some good news there, because Wyatt Ray was brought in about the time that Bud Dupree suffered that injury.
Terry, clearly they know that they've got some issues, or they wouldn't be doing all this wheeling and dealing with the practice squad. And this has been going on now for about a week and a half. How concerned do you think they are?
Well, I think you have to be concerned. Injuries are just a way of life in the NFL, but this team seems to be hit harder than most in terms of losing players for an extended amount of time. You look, Traylon Burks is going to miss some time. You've got 11 guys, I think, since the start of the season that are already on IR. So you're playing with guys that you either didn't start the season on your roster and were on your practice squad, or else you brought them in off the street from somewhere or somebody else's practice squad, and they have to get a crash course in what you do. So it's really a remarkable testimony to this coaching staff to be able to get guys like Joe Schobert to come in off the street, force a fumble, and play pretty well under difficult circumstances, coming in about 3 days before he's ready to play in a game. So, credit to the coaching staff for doing that, but it is difficult to continue to live this way and win football games. And the Titans, sooner or later, those types of things start to catch up with you.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to let you go now so you can, get on a train or whatever it is you're going to get on to get to Arlington. It's a good 10-hour drive. You'll enjoy it. Very scenic. Right around Texarkana is when it really gets scenic.
Oh yeah, I've driven that before. I had a friend that used to live out there, and I'll tell you a quick story. I went out there to see him. This was in the 80s. Went out there to see him. This was at the old Rangers Stadium, not the ballpark at Arlington, but the old Rangers.
Old.
And went out there to see the Yankees. And on my vacation to visit him back during my single days. And I said, do we need to buy tickets in advance? He said, no, nobody goes to Rangers games. I said, okay.
True.
So we go. And sure enough, we're sitting right above the third base dugout, about 20 rows up. Things are great. So finish the vacation. The next year, I decide I'm going to go out there again, and make the same trip. And the Bash Brothers Oakland A's from the late 80s, Canseco, McGuire, Ricky Henderson, that whole bunch is playing. Again, I asked my buddy, I said, do we need to buy tickets in advance? Another popular team coming in? No problem. We'll be able to get in. Get down there. It's the night Nolan Ryan got his 5,000th strikeout.
Oh,
Not a ticket to be had anywhere.
Oh, Terry. That's a bad story. That's too
I
long.
blame it on my friend. He should have known better.
You should. Put his name out there.
Howard.
Okay.
Yes.
Terry,
he's much smarter than I am. He's actually he's actually an engineer, and he makes stuff that goes on the space shuttle and crap like that.
You're right. He is smarter. He's smarter than all three of us combined. Terry, see you tomorrow.
See you guys.
Terry McCormick with his daily Titans update that starts the show. Billy, how much time have we got for the update?
Not a whole lot.
Let's go.
But we got to go. That was the daily Titans update, George, powered by the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, as well as Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Call the Justin Tucker team at 615-906-8458, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty. Also, Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Find them online at sumnerfuneral.com. They share their family with yours in your time of need, now with two convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville. All right, we start today's update with the NFL. Kenny Pickett has been named QB1 in Pittsburgh. Of course, the first-round pick of last year's draft. He's going to face a little bit more of a challenge as the Bills enter the week as the number one defense in the league at this point. So,
Watson, give me a quick answer. Is he ready for this?
Well, he wasn't last week.
Yeah.
How many interceptions did he throw in a half? 2, 3?
In fairness, the first one I didn't think was his fault. It was kind of a tip.
Yeah. But no, he's not ready yet. But I don't think they got a choice. They might as well start getting him some experience, because Trubisky is just, God bless him, just can't get it done. We all pull for him, but he hadn't been able to do it.
Never got the ball downfield. It was check down Mitch. Yeah. Item two,
Jerry Jones doesn't rule out Dak Prescott for Sunday, but he did acknowledge that his grip on a football is not well enough to play at the moment. So I'm not sure what Jerry Jones is thinking right now.
God.
Trying to keep his name in the press. That's all he's doing. They'll have to come back to him again and say, well, what do you think, Jerry? Is he on Saturday, on Sunday? Good gracious, he's not playing Sunday. If he can't grip a ball yet, he dang sure can't throw it. You do have to grip it to throw it. So,
unless you're Patrick Mahomes, and then you.
Yeah, but he still threw a few more after that.
Yeah. So. Item three,
the Mets are going to go with Jacob deGrom on Wednesday if they have to. So if they have a shot at finishing in first in the division, Buck Showalter said that deGrom could start the season finale.
So
does
Watson,
that scare you, George?
Hell yeah, it scares me. I've got a little heartburn right now. The Mets are up 2-0 in the third inning in game one of a doubleheader. We're going with Jake Odorizzi tonight, who can't get anybody out.
Woo!
I am starting to fear that this is going down to Wednesday. And if it does, be a little tight.
You remember, Billy, you will remember this. What did I say? I said, I don't know that it's the Met series as much as it's the series after the Met series that scares me, because all the pitchers are gone. And I don't know. Mets have better pitching that's not in that top three than the Braves do, in my opinion.
Deeper.
And yet the Braves went in a funk hitting the ball last night.
Yeah.
Or 2 nights ago, I guess. Well, it was last night. Right?
They need to jump all over the Marlins tonight because
they need to get this one out of the way. But they got to win probably. If the Mets win 3, they got to win 2 of them.
No, they got to win 1. The magic number is 1.
Well, they've won 1. They've got to win 2 out of 3. And so now they got to win 1 of the next 2 to finish this thing off.
But if the Mets do start DeGrom on Wednesday, he wouldn't be able to rest for the playoffs.
You can't worry about that. At this point of the season, it's survive and advance.
Well, they're already in, though,
Yeah,
George.
I mean,
what is it that big a deal on who the difference is of who they play? Who do they have to go through if they don't win it?
Okay. If they don't win, they have probably San Diego. And if they beat San Diego, then they get the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
If you finish as the champion, you're the 2 seed, first round bye, second round St. Louis or Philly. You tell me. I mean, it's a huge difference.
So okay. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, deep down, would Buck Showalter rather give rest to DeGrom, or he would definitely take that number 1.
I think they
seed.
take the 1 seed.
Yeah.
Any way they can get it.
Well, he gets a first round bye. Wouldn't that give DeGrom time to be back?
Sure.
So I can see what he's thinking. Why wouldn't the Braves do the same thing?
I think they should. I think they need to think about it. I'd have Odorizzi on a tighter leash than your dog is on.
Yeah, and then the next game, I'm not sure I wouldn't come with one of my big 3 again. Who pitched first? Fried?
It'd be Max Fried.
Fried.
If they did that.
I tell you.
We'll see. We will see. Last piece, though, George. Kumar Rocker is making his professional debut tonight, the Rangers' number 1 pick in the draft. He is making his debut for the Surprise Saguaros as part of a 9-player contingent of Rangers prospects tonight.
Let's just table it for now, but we may bring it back up later because it is a bizarre story how it's gotten to this.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
It's a good conversation to have, though.
Okay. After the break, looking forward to Tennessee Tuesday. We start it with Tony Basilio, Knoxville sports talk show host who you all have loved getting to know. He will join us next and talk to his close friend, Watson Brown.
Confucius,
that's right. Stay tuned. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Okay, be ready early Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, Tennessee LSU Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge. We say hello to Knoxville Sports Talk Show host, and our friend Tony Basilio joins us from Knoxville. Tony, I want to have a little fun.
Let's do that.
Okay, I want you to kind of describe what you're about to see on this TV screen.
All right. This is what we call 2010 game. My partner, lo these many years, Beano Jeff Henderson, came on the air in his best Southern accent and said, we're trying to win a game at LSU, and we take a damn team photo in the end zone, a team photograph. We took a damn team picture at winning time. That's not how you close out a game, guys. When you got like 25 guys on, and there's Derek Dooley playing head coach over there, like a lot of people have played head coach. And there's old Les Miles going, boy, Lady Luck smiled on me one more time. They got 19 guys in the end zone.
It looks like both Bob Kessling and John Ward are playing defense.
Everybody's out there. If you look closely enough, you can see Beatty Feathers out there. I mean, they brought them all back for that game.
General Caffigo.
Yes, they brought them all back.
Watson, how does that happen?
I don't know. Somebody can't count. I mean,
somebody can't count.
Somebody just can't count. There's a coach over there that's supposed to be counting, and I think he quit about 8 or 9 and just sat there with it.
Put this thing back on for just a second, and then
I think
we'll
there's
get
16
serious.
guys in there, George. I think there's 16 guys in the end zone. I think that was the number. And I'm telling you, my guy just was like ripping his guts out on the air with me. I think it was a post game, or it was like it was the next day. Yeah, it was that Monday. He did that team photo line. He said we got in there and took a damn team photo like Lee Corso when Indiana played Ohio State.
Oh, that's hilarious. Okay,
Yeah.
that's not
Gotta
going
laugh
to happen.
at it, man. Gotta laugh.
That's not going to happen this time. How do you think the open date? How do you think Tennessee has used it to their benefit? And then I'll kind of turn it to you and Watson.
Yeah, they're just trying to get healthier, you know? I mean, this league is one where the rigors of playing in it just beats you up, you know, for lack of a better way of putting it. And Tennessee's been through that. So, and we don't know right now whether Cedric Tillman, the great wide receiver, is back for this game. Tennessee has a plethora of receivers. Hendon Hooker's shoulder, you know, you hope it's healthy, but You got a big defensive line from LSU, and they get people on the ground. You know, it's what they do. It's how they've stayed in games. They've been resourceful so far. So I think it's going to be an interesting football game Saturday night. I know what people think. People think Tennessee's going to run them out of the building. And I've had people call me a carpetbagger this week. They're mad at me because I'm not ready to go with the narrative that Tennessee's a contender in the East. And, maybe you have a shot at a playoff if they can beat Alabama. I mean, all those things could be true. But in this league right now, and you're where Tennessee is, to me, it's a 1 week at a time proposition. That's what we're looking at here. It's a 1 game at a time deal.
How good a guest was Watson Brown on your show?
He's doing it tomorrow.
Oh.
So Watson Brown will be an excellent, not good. He'll be an excellent guest tomorrow.
What would he have to do to get to great?
Oh, it won't matter. My man crush on him and the amount of bro love I have for him, he speaks into that element on his phone tomorrow, and that will be greatness personified.
Wow. Confucius, take it away.
There is love.
Oh, man. Tony and I had a nice conversation on the phone the other day, George. We talked about a lot of things and a lot of things about life. Of course, we're both getting old. I'm a good bit older, but it was a very nice conversation. A lot of things we can't say on the air. But
did you talk about my sport coat?
Did we what, George?
Did you talk about my sport coat that you?
No, I didn't bring up your sport coat.
You're looking great. Hey, George, I thought I was looking great in my Phillies hat. You're looking unbelievable today. I mean, I don't know what you're going for, but wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And congrats to the Phillies for getting in. Yeah,
so people wonder why I'm so jaded. They're like my favorite team in sports, right? And since 1883, since I've been playing baseball, this is their 14th postseason appearance.
Wow.
Don't spend it all in one place. 14 postseasons in like 150 years.
He's got a point, Watson.
Wonderful, isn't it?
So give him a preview of what tomorrow will sound like, Watson.
Wherever Tony takes me, George, we will go. That's all I can say. Tony said, well, that says, I said, Tony, it don't matter. Just go. Whatever it is, we'll just go with it.
What he was basically saying was, Tony, look, I've heard some asinine stuff from George. Nothing you throw out there will bother me.
Well, one of the things I want to get into with him, because I find it very interesting, is he talks about the way Tennessee's receivers line up and the edge it gives them. And I don't know why more teams don't do it, Watson. Like, for instance, the guy up at Missouri in 1 week made an adjustment like that, unless I was seeing things, because they saw something on film from Kent State, what Georgia was susceptible to, and it borderline worked for them.
Yeah, the reason a lot of people don't, it's a commitment. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you've got to have all the pieces that go with it, Tony. You can't you can line up a little bit, and if they do what you want them to, you take advantage of it. If they don't, you leave it and go back to something else. Tennessee does it as an offense, and they've got all the pieces, and they have the adjustments on what somebody does to them. And it's a little bit like the wishbone. You can't just run the wishbone, line up and run 3 plays in a game. It's a commitment offense, and that's where Tennessee's different, and that's why they can do it, and that's why they can keep doing it, because they know where they're going over what they see. And we'll talk about it tomorrow, but they don't see a whole lot of coverages because of what they do. And that was what I always believed in back in my day. I could line up in the wishbone and then go to no backs, empty as they call it in today's world. We called it special back in those days. But you didn't see but 1 or coverage, maybe 2, when you get in those sets, because they're not normal sets to people. And so they say, well, we'll check this when they line up in that. Well, once I learned what the check was, I saw 1 or 2 coverages the whole day, when if you're in a normal offense, you might see 10 coverages.
Right.
And so it's a simplification for what Tennessee does. You can't line up in a whole lot of stuff to that stuff that they do. But I'll say, and we'll get into it further tomorrow, Tony, if you want to. But to me, Tony, this is by far Tennessee's toughest game. It ain't even close in who they've played. This is their toughest game so far. It's an atmosphere they haven't been in.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best defense they've played. And honestly, they haven't really played an offense yet. They have not. They played Pitt, who was pretty good in the first half and lost their quarterback. And then it faded in the second half. Florida played their best offensive game of the year, and it's still not a great offense. Right. LSU is not a great offense. So I think they've got to go outscore this team. But I'm telling you, this is their toughest game so far in the season. And everybody better understand. I'm not saying they're not going to beat them and might beat them good, but this is their toughest opponent and atmosphere by far of who they've played so far, in my opinion.
You're talking about two defensive ends that are NFL football players.
Yeah.
I mean, the Ojulari guy is unbelievable. Guy on the other side of him was incredible last week. LSU offensively, my question is, do they have enough at the quarterback position to stay with Tennessee, to give themselves a chance the second half? So I'll tell you this, the game's close in the fourth quarter. Tennessee been in trouble. That LSU team knows how to win. I mean, you just see it. And defensively, they make plays. So it's incumbent upon Tennessee to take a team that's been slow starting all year. That LSU bunch is slow starting. That quarterback, Daniels, plays in spurts. When he gets it going, he's unreal. When he doesn't, he's a guy I'd like to face if I ever get in a snowball fight again, because he's going to hit you. You know, you can stand right in front of that guy. He's not going to hit you. He's either really on or really off. And that's how it goes with him. You know, that's how it goes with him. So I'm looking at this game, Coach, and I totally agree with you. I think it's Tennessee's toughest test by far. It's not even close. And LSU, you know, even when a coach takes his foot off the gas there, recruiting-wise, they still have great players all over the field. And that's them.
It's SEC. It's upper-level SEC football. I don't care what you say, athletic-wise. And the way the quarterback for LSU is successful is when they finally get behind and they let him go. Just say, go make plays. And that's when he makes plays. He's not a structured guy.
Right.
They score ugly. That's why they can't score enough to beat Tennessee. So I'm going to say what I said against Florida. Just do what you do and get your points that you normally get, and they can't beat you. You go in there and you let them hang around and you mess it up and turn it over 2 or 3 times. Or you get in. Tony, they got to start fast. They got a major advantage with 11 o'clock. Right. Number one, it'll be hot. And that's perfect for Tennessee. Number two, the crowd. I've been there a bunch of times, and if you jump on them, it's one of the best crowds in football. It is. If you jump on them first. It's one of the top 5 in college football. But they're also a crowd that if you get them down, they're not very patient. They don't hang in there with you. They'll kind of disappear. And so Tennessee needs to jump on them quick. Did you see the comment that Coach Kelly made that I'd be all over? I'll bet you Coach is all over it. He said, we're in better condition than everybody we play. Man, that would be on my bulletin board. We're in better condition, and we beat people in third and fourth quarters. We've been behind in all these games, but we're in better condition than everybody we've played. Blackboard, I'm telling you, I'd have it up there, and I would go as fast at the start of that game. I would go as fast as I could, and I'd try to wear them guys down. And that's the way I think they win the game, is they do wear them down. This is a game I would go. I would go as fast as I can and hope it works.
You know, the nuances of what the Vols
best team they play.
Well, the nuances, Watson, of what the Vols do, which is really interesting, right? So you watch other teams in college football, they make a catch. They're jumping up in the air celebrating. Tennessee's receiver is looking for the guy to spot the ball and hand the ball to him. Watch them. That's what they do. That's how they're taught. And everything's predicated on it's not so much we're going to go so fast that we're going to discombobulate ourselves. We're just going to go so fast that we're going to get over the ball. You're not going to be able to substitute in the warm weather. And like the one thing that you've kind of taught me is, and then by the time we get through a quarter, if I can execute on offense, your DBs are over there with their tongues hanging out of their mouths. And last week, LSU had some busts in their secondary, which allowed Auburn to make some big plays. And it was one of their newcomers. And Tennessee's going to find that. And they're going to exploit that. The other thing is that Josh Heupel, since he got here, has believed in morning practices. And the morning practice is going to allow Tennessee to kind of stay in there. It's sort of what they do. It's the time of day when they work.
Yeah.
They're a rise early team. It's a perfect setup for them. Look, if they want to clip a team like this on the road and get out to a 5-0 start, and then I'll tell you what people here are thinking about. They're thinking about that Alabama. I'm trying to caution people against it. But they're thinking about that Alabama game. And I'm going to tell you something, guys. I don't blame them. It's been so bad here for so long. They've been so non-competitive and such a non-factor for so long. Who blames them for dreaming a little bit? George, who blames Phillies fans, for saying, hey, we're in the postseason. We can get hot.
Sure.
It's true. You can get hot. I mean, Tennessee's 4-0. You win this game, make yourself 5-0. All of a sudden, you can become a part of the conversation. And tell that to your team. Why not?
Well, bad game last week for Tennessee watching LSU play Auburn because everybody thought they'd go in and bomb Auburn.
And they didn't.
Auburn has still got solid players, and those kids played their guts out Saturday.
I agree.
The Auburn kids were ready, and LSU found a way to win it, and honestly, lucky to win it. Don't let that fool you. This LSU team is good. The only way LSU beats you is turning the ball over and doing crazy things, because if Tennessee plays their game and LSU plays their game, they can't keep up. They can't score 30.
And my caution is against Florida State, they got a turnover. Stopped the Florida State drive, went down and scored, turned the game around.
No.
Didn't win the game, but turned the game around.
They hang around.
Mississippi State, same thing. Against Auburn, down 17-0, scored with their defense. If they don't score with their defense at the end of the half,
they don't
win.
That
LSU bunch, there would have been 30,000 Tennessee fans in that place. I'm going to tell you something. Tennessee's bringing a lot, and I mean a lot of people to this game. I'm happy for this fan base because truly, and it's cliche to say this, but they really do deserve to enjoy a season like I think they're going to enjoy. I think they have a nice team, the Vols.
Well, the other thing to me is look at what LSU did to Mississippi State.
Yeah.
An all-out pass team. LSU can defend the pass. They made Mississippi State look average. And then look what Mississippi State turned around and did to A&M. Just be careful. I'm telling you, this defense is by far the best defense they play. Don't let their quarterback beat you. That's the key to me. He's the only one that can win the game for LSU. Don't let him get loose and beat you. But if Tennessee does what they're supposed to do, and I'm telling you, this is the game they got to go. Spread them out and go fast and wear that LSU defense out. And, man, I'd be talking it all week. Oh, they're in better shape than we are, huh? Okay. Let's see if they're in better shape than we are on this old hot 11 o'clock afternoon down in the bayou where it is humid as it can be, man.
Yeah.
Go for it. If I'm Coach Heupel, that's exactly the way I'm approaching this. Oh, okay. You're in better shape than we are, huh?
Yeah.
Think back about Ole Miss last year in Georgia when everybody's laying all over the field. They're wore out. That's what Tennessee needs to do Saturday. Try to wear these guys down.
Brian Kelly's his own biggest fan, guys. We all know that. and nobody's in better condition than his team. Nobody's better coach than his team. Nobody's stronger than his team. When you talk about a guy that's amused with himself, what'll be interesting there is if they lose that game and he gets off to a little bit of a rocky start there, he doesn't know yet what he signed up for with that fan base, guys.
No.
He has no idea what he signed up for. With his personality, now I think he's a solid coach. And I think you guys do too. I mean, his resume says that he is, but that place is nuts. Those people take crazy to another level.
They'll throw bottles at you.
Oh, you damn straight.
Have you been to a game there?
I have not.
Oh, listen, Watson, help him. That's bucket list. Unless you're the sideline announcer, and then there's some things as when I in my 20s that I had to duck. Oh my God, it was
They're
brutal.
wild, aren't they?
Oh, they're crazy, but I love them. If you take all of the SEC places at their top, absolutely at their best, none are better than Tiger Stadium. Neyland Stadium's right up there, but Tiger Stadium is the best.
I hear that gig at night's unreal, guys.
Yeah,
I hear it's just.
They're all fans in the SEC at most all these stadiums are like it, but there's something different about LSU and their fans. When we went in there and knocked them off at UAB, Tony, we're leaving. They're rocking the bus. They're rocking our bus as we're leaving. I mean, it's shaking back and forth across. We
Tony,
go to Penn State, we knock them off. They're clapping for us as we leave. Their fans are saying, "Good job, guys."
Yeah, we appreciate it. Not
Rouge,
LSU.
man. You don't get out alive in Baton Rouge if you knock those guys off. So it's going to be a great day. I really look forward to this game. It's going to be a fun game.
I've got a better one than Watson.
Right.
When I was Vandy's announcer, we decided we were going to make them wear their purple jerseys at home. Think about it. They're one of the few teams that wears white, and we made them wear purple. So Watson says they rocked his bus after the game. They rocked ours when we got there about 2.5 hours beforehand.
Coming in through the Grove up through that way.
Wow.
They turned that into an inter-squad scrimmage. It was 35-0 at the half. And I think we sort of got the point that, hey, let them wear whatever the hell they want to wear.
Speaking of which, guys, Tennessee's wearing their what I call Butch Jones grays this week.
Oh, no.
And they're dreadful. And I don't know why they're doing it. Because it's just kind of like, and people got on me there, like, why are you making a big deal of this? And I'm going, because they're wearing their home whites. You have a chance to wear your beautiful orange jersey and create a really festive, beautiful college football game. But you're going to wear gray. And not only gray, but Butch Jones gray.
Hey, Tony, no pressure on this, okay? What I'm about to say.
Yes.
But if you do accept my invitation to be, a celebrity bowler, I'm going to have you in the lane next to your daddy over here.
Oh, absolutely. You've got to put us together.
Buddy, I'd drive all night to get there to be next to Watson Brown. Can you imagine how smart I'd be after an hour next to him, bowling next to him?
You get a whole lot smarter because you get to talk to my wife. That's how your brain would get better. You stay away from me and you spend some time with Brenda, you'd be a lot better off.
Well, I'm looking forward to it.
Tony, was that a yes?
Might be.
Might be.
Been.
Okay.
Might have
Tell
been.
people where they can hear you after the game Saturday.
So as soon as the game goes final, I'm going to be on the air on something we call Garza Law, Fifth Quarter Fan Reaction, which is Tennessee call-in show. And after these big games, it is just something to behold. Win, lose, or draw. I mean, it's just pure emotion. Hopefully it's celebratory. I've had people from other fan bases tell me, God, I love listening to you guys when you lose. And I'm sitting there going, I guess there's a place for you too. But we're at tclub.team, which is where you find it, or under my name on Twitter Live. And I just got to tell you, this week, if Tennessee wins that game will be over around, let's see, with these two teams, 7 o'clock Eastern, 3.5 hours or so. Wait a second. No, not 7 Eastern. 4 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
We'll probably be on till 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking for a conservative 10-hour program.
Okay, keep the pipes loosened. Tony, thank you as always. This is great stuff.
Thank you, guys.
See you
Real
tomorrow,
blessing.
Tony.
Hey, thank you.
He is so good. Tony Basilio joining us on the show. When we come back, I'm going to throw something in there to Watson about how difficult a road Tennessee's got over the next 5 weeks.
Yep.
Stick around. This is Main Street Media. Oh, hold on. You have something to say over there?
Yeah, it's on the screen, George.
Well, say it.
Tennessee Tuesday is brought to you by Wellskin Dermatology and Aesthetics, as well as Direct Radon Mitigation. They provide medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit wellskinmd.com to schedule your appointment or call 615-675-0444. And Direct Radon Mitigation. Have you ever heard of the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer. The only way to know is to test for it. Visit directradonmitigation.com to schedule a free estimate.
Now, after the break, we'll talk about what worries me when it comes to Tennessee football. This is Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At Wellskin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit wellskinmd.com to schedule your appointment today. Wellskin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Direct Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DirectRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DirectRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 1045 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
This will be a quick segment. I'm smart enough to know that Tony had a lot of you all with the eyeballs watching. It was great. It really was. But Watson, here is the one thing that scares me. I know what a great, well, you know it too, what a grind SEC football is. This isn't Boise State where 1 week they play San Diego State and the next week they get to go to Hawaii and then they have open date. look at what Tennessee faces in the next 5 weeks. Let's look at these 4 games. LSU at Tiger Stadium. Enough said. Alabama, Neyland Stadium. Enough said. All of a sudden, what used to be a cupcake, what used to be freebie city, is now Kentucky, and they're pretty dadgum good. And then if that isn't enough, then go down to Georgia between the hedges at Sanford Stadium. Watson, I don't believe there's a team in the country that could go through that group undefeated.
It's going to be hard, George, and I think the nemesis of this team hasn't come out yet, and that's depth. I still don't think they're near. They've got at least another class to put in this group before they're going to get deep enough, and that's where I think it may show, is they start having some injuries when you start lining up in what they're fixing to play here, and then all of a sudden you're not playing with the same guy on defense at tackle. You're not playing with the same guy at corner. You're down a running back. You're down an offensive tackle. That's what happens. I always said when I coached in the SEC, it's not playing Alabama. It's playing Alabama, Georgia, then Ole Miss, then Florida. That's what is tough about the SEC. It's not that Alabama game. It's the next one, then the next one, then the next one. And it just wears on you. It absolutely wears on you. Injury and your mindset, George. It's hard to keep going, man. You line up against Alabama, then there's Georgia looking at you. Then you take a deep breath the next week. Then it's Florida looking at you. And that's what I always thought about SEC football. I didn't feel that in any other conference I was ever in other than in the SEC.
Go back on this, Billy. You got Saturday at LSU, then a week from now, home against Alabama. Now, this is where the open date will be. Man, if any team would deserve an open date, it'd be Tennessee. And they get that before they play Kentucky and Knoxville on the 29th. Watson, that is, to me, the only silver lining in that group of 4 is that right there, that open date.
Yeah, they're having 2 right in the middle of SEC schedule. And that does help. But still, it's still a grind. It's still a grind, and I just worry about Tennessee as I would worry about Vanderbilt. Depth. You've got to play more players as the season goes on, and when you go through that stretch, that's the best teams in the league right there.
Woo.
That's the best. You got Alabama, Georgia, Kentucky, and LSU right now is up there. So you're playing the best in the league all back to back to back. Tough.
That's what's going to be all this national title stuff, and can they compete with whoever? That's my biggest fear for them is Tennessee's next 4 games is that gauntlet they've got to go through, and that is hard.
It is brutal, and they go to Georgia right after Kentucky, right?
Yep.
And Kentucky is a very physical game. Kentucky makes you play a physical game, and then you go to Georgia, which makes you play a very physical game. So I think that's the stretch. If they've got the LSU, Alabama, this stretch, then the open date, so it's not too bad for Kentucky, but then Kentucky and Georgia in that stretch, that's just tough now. And I don't know if anybody has any worse than Tennessee. I don't know if anybody in the SEC, if you lined up the 4 games, throw out the open dates, but if you lined up the 5 games, counting Florida, LSU, Alabama, Kentucky, Georgia. Has anybody in the conference got any worse stretch than that?
And look at the date on the Kentucky game, November 5th. That's after you have to play Bama.
No, Kentucky is October 29th.
Oh, 29th.
Georgia is November 5th.
Georgia's the 5th, but you got to play Kentucky after Bama, right after Bama.
Yeah, but an open date, right? There is an open date.
Yeah.
In there, which is big for the Kentucky game. That is huge.
If you're a college football fan, I want you to stick around during this 5 o'clock hour. We're going to Lawrence, Kansas, and find out how in the world Kansas has gotten to this point. And then I am going to lay a graphic on you that I have stolen. I'll tell you where I stole it, and it'll blow your mind. And we're gonna put a little quiz on Watson and see just how much he knows in the world of college football.
That won't take long.
He doesn't miss a beat.
Stat of the day is coming up next. This is Main Street Media Television.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards.
We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. It is now time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Vintage Sports and Cards, as well as Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. You can find John English in Shelbyville. They are open Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit them online at johnenglishgradedcards.com. Also, Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. Call Eric at 615-490-7052. Or visit them online at rockcastlewealth.com for more information. And that leads us into today's stat of the day. George and Watson, which NFL quarterback is leading the league in completion percentage? And this answer will shock you.
Really?
Yeah. So don't go.
Wow. Okay. So
This is
that
not the
eliminates Watson. And you stay out of this, Billy. Watson, that eliminates what I was thinking, which was Patrick Mahomes, who was on fire Sunday night in Tampa. So leading the league in completion percentage would shock us. You know, Watson, here's one that's nuts. But all Mitchell Trubisky did for 3 weeks was check down.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's it. But you know what? I'm going to throw one out there and get your reaction. Geno Smith, who has been on fire in Seattle, played the Lions this week, has played they opened against Denver, and I don't remember how good he was or wasn't against Denver. You think that might be it?
Yeah, the one I was going to say is Stafford, because they were talking in the game last night about how high his completion percentage had been early in the year.
But that one wouldn't shock you.
But if he said it wouldn't shock us, then that's not it. So it's got to be one. And I did listen to NFL Live yesterday talking about how well Geno Smith's stats were. I'm not sure I remember completion percentage, but they were talking about how good his stats were, and they were much better than Wilson's were this time a year ago. They were comparing the two. So you might have it, George. That might be it.
Geno. Let's see what it is.
Geno's the final answer?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah. How about that? Oh, yeah.
Good job, George. That one's pretty much you there, because I had to think back after you brought it up.
Yeah. Okay. We're now going to get to one of the great stories of the last month. But, Billy, I know you have some things to say first.
Yes, I do. We are into the 5 o'clock hour, brought to you by Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic. They combine state-of-the-art orthopedic service with a family atmosphere. Whether it's a sports injury, a sprained ankle, or a major joint replacement, MTBJ has the staff, training, and equipment needed to take care of any patient in any circumstance. Visit mtbj.net for more information.
Before we bring David Lawrence, who is the University of Kansas's color analyst on their radio broadcast, just take a look during the interview at some of the stats we're going to put up there about Kansas. It is mind-boggling. It's also very cool that they have gone through, well, that part isn't cool, 674 weeks of not being in the top 25. They now are there. Look at that. Snapped a streak of basically, BGA math tells me that's about 12 and a half years. And the last time they were up there, Nashvilleian Bill Whittemore was Kansas's quarterback. Yeah. David, I know you remember that. I really appreciate your doing this.
Hey, it's great to be on in Tennessee, and Bill Whittemore is one of our all-time greats. I love his family. I mean, just tremendous family. Bill was a great quarterback and a great leader for our team. And, you know, it's too bad that it's been that many years. I remember these years painfully, but it makes this year extra special because this is the one we've been waiting for. And it's been a lot of fun, and we're excited in Lawrence, Kansas for football.
David, we're all believing, okay, this guy Lance Leopold, man, he must be doing something that has got them cranking. But when did you first see something that made you say, wait a minute, this is pretty good, this is different?
Yeah, I'm losing your audio a little bit, but just a little bit about our team. Lance Leipold arrived, you know, from Buffalo. He had been in Wisconsin Whitewater. Just a culture of winning championships at Whitewater, and then in Buffalo, building a championship team there as well. And he brought all the pieces necessary to make Kansas his place. And you know, he didn't have to go out and accumulate coaches all around and, you know, get things together and take their time in building a winning program. He had them right there with him and immediately got busy in the portal. And then this summer, we had something significant happen to our team. For the past 12 years, you know, we've had 4 different coaches. And each time a coach leaves, you know, through attrition, we lose scholarship athletes. And the NCAA rule was you could only bring in 25 at a time. You could have 85, but you could only get there with 25 each season. We would never get past 60, 65. So we were literally playing 60 on 80. The field wasn't balanced. That changed this summer. So through the portal, through the rule change, And of course, Lance Leipold, his culture, and Travis Goff, our athletics director, to give him all the resources necessary. I mean, football has arrived here. And yes, 5-0, a very significant beginning. We've had a challenging schedule as well. So we are ecstatic. Of course, college game day arriving this Saturday is going to be really exciting for folks around Lawrence.
It sounds like the fan base has just gone nuts about this. What is this? This will be the third straight sellout Saturday.
Yes. And, we haven't been known for, having the fans there, even for the few years where we had a couple of wins. So they know this is a different thing. And they sense this, and they're showing up in droves. Third straight sellout coming up this Saturday. It means the world to this program that we can sell out football. And this is year 2. In fact, Lance didn't even have spring ball last year. So it's not really 2 full years yet. He's been able to build this without a spring. So he's had 1 spring ball and a fall. And, man, we saw the improvement last year. We started out because we didn't have spring, and we struggled. And we were getting the doors beat down. But by the end of the year, we beat Texas and Austin. We almost had 2 other Big 12 wins. So not a shock that this season that we were going to start out strong. But, I'm the eternal optimist, and I've been around this program for 40-plus years. But I can't say that I really expected to be 5-0 at this juncture. But a lot of things has happened good for us.
David, how do you keep him? Because with each passing win, his name just gets linked to all of these openings.
Yeah, and he's been at Nebraska and he's been at Wisconsin, so that's naturally going to be here. But that's a great question, and one that I can tell you that the fans around here, as excited as they are about Kansas football and game day and 6-0 and the bowl, they're concerned. But I'll tell you this: if we can come this far in essentially a year and a half, who's to say we can't win a championship at Kansas? Who's to say that we can't beat, who is it, Oklahoma, the favorite? That they're 0-2 this season. And yes, there's a lot of good teams in the Big 12. And I'm not making bold predictions on what's going to happen the rest of the year. But if Coach Leipold can do this in a year and a half, why can't he win a championship in Lawrence as well as you can in Wisconsin and Nebraska? I think he's confident.
Well, we sound like we're having.
I'll tell you what. Everyone.
I don't know if we're going to be able to pull this off or not. It sounded like David just sort of died. Excuse me. It sounds like I did. Sounds like his feed really died on us there, Watson. And I hate that. Hopefully we can get him back up here in a second. What have you seen that is the key to all this?
First, quarterback. That's who I was going to bring up to him, because they've had fantastic quarterback play. You don't make a jump like this without a guy running the ship. And I think it's what I was going to ask him. I think he's a freshman that came into the program, has been there, and is maybe a redshirt freshman. I don't know. So.
Let's try him again. David, I think we've got you back. Say hello to Watson Brown. Watson, say hello to David Lawrence.
David, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
It's great to be on with you. I'm sorry we're having connection problems. I'm trying a new spot.
David, to me, the difference that I've seen is quarterback. Your quarterback play has been fantastic. He has made play after play, and he seems to be a kid, and he's within your program. I think he's been there, right? I mean, he was a signee as a freshman. Am I wrong about that? He's not a transfer. He's been there, but he seems to be making plays when he needs to make them. To me, he makes critical plays during ball games, and it looks like as the season's gone on, David, they've really clinged to him. I think the belief in him is the team has really jumped behind him.
Yes, and you're absolutely accurate. A good friend of mine who's now down in Florida, but I believe he spent a lot of time in Tennessee, Brent Dearman, as our offensive coordinator. He went out to California and found this kid. And, evidently they decide who the top quarterbacks are in California, way back in 8th and 9th grade. And Jaylen Daniels, I don't know if he was top 50 out of the state of California. Dearman brings him to Kansas. We immediately saw that his arm strength, he was a great kid and very athletic, and he could run. And he got thrown to the Wolves when he was just a freshman at 17. And, we didn't have the offensive line or receiver group that could block for him, and he really got beat up. Maybe got a little gun shy, but this season he has really come on strong, and he is the strength of this team, and he's taking care of the ball so well. But he's playing as well as any quarterback in America. But you know how it is in college football. There's so many important things, but having the right kind of quarterback that can take care of the ball and doing a good job with ball security goes a long ways.
Yeah. David, how good you see them. You saw them last year. You've seen them many years before. I can remember bringing the UAB team there as coach, and I bet there wasn't 10,000 people in the stands back in the early 2000s. And so you've seen this thing all the way through. And how good are they? Do you feel like they're good enough?
Here this past week, as good a defense as what we'll see in our conference, they really shut down our offense and held us to 14 points. And our quarterback, Jaylen Daniels, had just average numbers. But, I mean, the sign of a good program is our defense stepped up. And they had held Iowa State to just 11 points, played their best game by far of the season. And we found a way to win without scoring a lot of points. And I think that was so valuable to this team moving forward as we get set for an undefeated TCU team here on Saturday.
George, my last thing, David, to you, have they thrown a contract? Is Coach Lipo being paid like these guys at the Wisconsins and all of that now? Have they put a contract back in front of him? I'm sure they're thinking about it if they hadn't already. I'd like to think Kansas is going to try to beat the posse because there's no doubt in my mind he's going to have people come after him.
Yes. And, we gave him an extension of his contract before the season began. And I believe that they are busy working on something because we know that, everybody's going to want something. And that's a sign of a good program, right? Because you got something that other people want. But as I said earlier, and I don't know if we got cut off, but how can Lipo feel like he can't win at Kansas? And I know we can pay him, but what he's done in a year and a half at Kansas, why can't he win a championship in the Big 12? Because I think he's going to be allowed to have the resources that a Nebraska or Wisconsin team can have moving forward. And I think this can happen here. We're going to our third straight sellout. We're just a year and a half into this program, and look what's happening right now. I mean, we're at the top of the conference. We don't know where we're going to end up, but right now we're in a pretty good place. And who's to say we can't go on in this schedule and go up against the Oklahomas and the Baylors of the world? And again, we're just in the infancy of this program.
I absolutely love what's going on. David, on really short notice today, thank you for taking the time to come on with us. Good luck to you guys. As I said earlier, as a former Vandy announcer, nobody appreciates the rise you all are having more than I do. Keep it going. I think we had a delay there.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay.
Making it hard. David, thank you. Watson, we're going to put a little quiz on you after the break, and I want to kind of tell everybody who's watching this, I want you to stick around. I'm going to throw the quiz out there. We're not going to show the graphic for a while. We're going to let Watson pick a few, see where he goes with it, and you all play along at home. It is a hell of a graphic, a hell of a stat that'll have you going, wow, this is really good. So stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Let me start this segment by saying I'm a thief. I stole this. It's an unbelievable graphic that will bring on, I think, a lot of conversation. Those of you who are watching this, I want you to play this game with me at home. We're not going to show the graphic for a while. I'm not trying to make Watson look bad, but it is a really interesting graphic. So Kansas has snapped a streak of 674 consecutive weeks unranked with this 5-0 start. Now, the 10 schools in America on the Power 5 level, we're going just Power 5 level.
Okay, that helps me right there. Yeah. Okay.
Who have not been in the top 25. I know I'm not saying this right. What's the longest droughts? The 10 longest droughts in Power 5 football of being in the top 25. And I'll tell you this up front. You'll be surprised. There's not some school that's 40 trillion years ago. It's mostly within the last decade, which told me something I hadn't thought of. Okay, Watson, throw out any of the 10. Who's your first one?
You got to start. I would start with the Power 5s at the bottom teams in each Power 5. And you go to the Pac-12 first. I don't think there's one there. I think Oregon State has been there. Washington State has been there. And Mike Leach took them there. Mike Riley took Oregon State there.
Stop there.
Huh?
Oregon State's there.
They are?
They're the
How
third.
far back does this go?
Theirs goes to August of 2013. The longest one, the school with the longest drought, is 2011.
Which is 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt would not be in that. The last time was Franklin, and how many years back was that?
Vanderbilt is in the list.
Vanderbilt is there.
They're number 4.
They're
the
number
last
4.
time they were in the top 25, January 7th, 2014.
Okay.
So you've got 2 of the 10.
Okay.
Keep going.
Is South Carolina in it?
That is a heck of a guess, and it is correct.
Okay.
Oh, listen to Billy over there.
Watson's hot.
I know he is. South Carolina has not been in the top 25 since September the 4th of 2018. Keep going.
The last time Missouri would have been Gary Pinkel, right?
Missouri is not on this list.
Pinkel was the last one. So is there any other SEC school, or can I head to another conference?
Head to another conference.
Okay, that's what I figured. Okay, is there anybody else in the Pac-12 other than we talked about Oregon State? Colorado would have to be there, wouldn't he?
There is one more.
It's not Colorado?
It isn't, because I think Mike McIntyre
had that 1 year.
Buffaloes to the
he had the 1 year. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was coach of the year that year, so that's right.
He got him to the title game, but there is one other Pac-12.
It's not Washington State. I don't think it's Washington. I know it's not Oregon. UCLA is now, aren't they? Are they in it now?
Watson, bear down.
Arizona.
Bingo.
Arizona. So our boy Rodriguez did not get them there, huh?
October 29th of 2017 was the last time. You think of that old Desert Swarm defense they had.
I took a team out there. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so you have named Oregon State, Vandy, Arizona, and South Carolina.
All right. Big 12. The Big 12, Kansas would have been number 1, I would say.
Yes.
They'd probably been the longest of that time. Is there a Big 12 left? I don't think there is there?
Yes.
Is it Texas Tech?
Texas
Bingo.
Tech, number 8, September 23rd.
They hadn't been since Mike Leach.
Yep,
and okay. Texas Tech, is that it in the Big 12? Okay, who we got left here? ACC. Who? I think Duke was in it under David at one point, weren't they?
They were, but they are 9th.
They are in it.
23rd of 2018.
So David was in his latter years, he didn't get there. So we're down to 4 years now. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Which tells me that there are a lot of schools getting into that 18 to 25 range.
Yes.
But seldom do they get past that.
Yeah.
That's
I agree
what
with
the thing is going to show.
Syracuse would have been, but I think they just got into the top 25.
Syracuse
just reached the top 25.
Would have been a really good guess.
Yeah. Is there another one?
Yes. 2.
Florida State was in the top 25, weren't they?
Yep.
Aren't they? So it's not them. It's not Virginia. I bet it's Virginia Tech.
I'll bet you're wrong. It's a Tech, but it ain't Virginia.
Oh, I hadn't gotten there yet. Georgia Tech, yes.
Yeah.
I was working my way down the ladder.
Is right below Vandy. And, you know, I'm going to prehistoric times, but when I did their games, they were loaded. Calvin Johnson, a ton of SEC level players on defense. To watch them fall apart has been shocking to me.
Yeah. No. And how they won Saturday, I don't know. I don't know because I just didn't see very many players. Is that it in the ACC?
No.
There's another one?
Mm-hmm.
It's not in Florida, is it?
Nope. A little north of there.
A little north of Florida.
Little north of Florida.
It's not Pitt. Boston College?
Bingo. They're number 10. They have not been in it since November of 2018. Are you tired of playing this?
No, I've got one conference left, and that's the Big Ten.
Yes.
Northwestern has been there, have they not?
Yes, they have.
How many are left in the? How many in the Big Ten?
Numbers 1 and 2 are Big Ten.
Okay, just a minute. It's not Penn State. They've been there. It's not Wisconsin. They've been to the Rose Bowl. Indiana.
Indiana is not there.
Not there.
Not there.
Oh, they had that one year where they went to the bowl.
Yep. Played Tennessee in the Gator Bowl.
Is Purdue in it?
Purdue is not in it.
Rutgers?
Rutgers is number 2. The last time they got in was November 18th of 2012.
And who am I missing? There's a top one?
Out of the Big Ten.
Out of the Big Ten. Gosh, it's not in Ohio. It's not in Michigan. It's not Michigan State. They were there last year. Iowa's been there. What other state am I missing? Illinois.
Bingo.
Illinois.
They have today the longest drought of the Power Fives, October 16th of 2011. Let's put this thing up on the screen. Okay. So there are the 10. And Watson, the thing that really surprised me, first of all, if you take James Franklin out, his era,
yeah,
Vandy would be number 1 on that list by 30 years.
I know. Yeah.
And that's a little scary. But if you really look, to me, it's that whole 18 to 25. Everybody is having their moment in the sun to get into 18th in the country all the way to 25th, but they don't stay there. The blue bloods stay, the rest do not.
Look at these jobs. People don't stay at these jobs very long.
Would you say South Carolina is the best of those jobs?
Yeah, and I'm not saying Spurrier and Holtz kind of are the only ones that really, but that's South Carolina is a hard job in the SEC, George. I've always said, don't take a job, which I've taken every one of mine, don't take a job that's in the bottom half of your conference because it's hard. It's proven in history that it's hard to win there. And look at these. Every one of these are in the bottom of their conferences.
So, okay, when it happens that this guy at Kansas all of a sudden has this resurgence, immediately the first thing the general public says with that, well, he must be cheating. Got to be cheating because there's too much history. So what is it? What is this guy doing that's getting them there?
Well, I learned a bunch today when David said they got extra scholarships this summer, more than the 25. I said, bingo, that don't happen very often. And that happened at UAB. When they brought football back, they got extra scholarships, George. And they got more than 25 every year to catch back up again. And if Kansas got that opportunity, it works. You get to if you bring in the right kind of kids and you're getting extra scholarships on everybody else. My question would be to Coach Lipo is going to be, his thought process is going to be, can I win like I could win at Wisconsin here? Can I do that? Hasn't happened very often. And that's the decision he's going to have to make. He leaves if he don't think he can. But think about this now. Texas and Oklahoma are leaving. That conference isn't going to be, that's the two top dogs for a long, long time. So that might keep him around knowing those two boys are headed out the door.
Okay, let me ask you this. He picks up the phone and he calls you. And he says, you're the cat daddy of smarts.
Yeah, boy, I picked a lot of good ones.
You've been to a lot of these places. That's why he's calling you.
He'd call me to say, what do I not need to do?
Okay.
That's what he'd ask me.
So what would you tell him?
I'd tell him, if you can win there and you're financially set the way you feel, your contract's good, and you think you can win, don't go. Grass ain't always greener. Don't go. But if you don't think you can win there, got to get out. You're not going to overcome something that you feel is going to be really hard to do. And the only place that I left that I really thought I could win there was Cincinnati. And we just weren't happy. Family-wise, it wasn't. We needed to get back south. But that's the only job I've taken where I truly thought I could win there in time, because we were going to build a facility and just like they did. And but the other jobs I've had not. So that's what I think he's going to have to look at, George. Can he truly win there? Because if he don't, he goes from top dog to the bottom of the barrel. And I'm telling you, your windows are about that big. They're about that big as a coach, college, any coach. Baseball, football, basketball, I don't care. You better hit the window right, and you better make decision when your window is there, because you make the wrong one, you're headed in the other direction.
Yeah, you end up at Northern Illinois.
Yep.
So, Watson, do you believe in your heart that he could have a 3 to 5 year run at Kansas that is really good with 2 or 3 bowl games? I'm not talking about winning 11, but winning in that 7 range. Do you think that is doable at Kansas?
I can't go there. I don't know enough about what they've done. But you look at past history, no. You look at past history, no. But programs can change when they truly make a commitment. We've been around a lot of them, George, that say they're going to make a commitment, but don't make the commitment. Is Kansas making the commitment or not? I don't know that. But looking at history, Kansas has been bottom half of that conference for a long, long time. So he's got to look at that, in my opinion.
So he has to go in when he ultimately meets with the chancellor and or the AD with a list like this that says, okay, here are the things I need. If you say yes, I'm staying. And if you don't, I'm out of here. Is it that simple?
That's about what I think will be doing if he's not already done it. Because he's already been contacted through his agent. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, sure.
I didn't realize he had coached at Nebraska and at Wisconsin. Jeez, both of those are already calling.
Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind.
They have him on speed dial for the agent.
If you've been at that program before, that jumps you up the ladder. And especially if you were there when they were in their good times. He's already having to talk to the Kansas people, I would say.
Let's check in with Brian Stewart, who joins us for his daily visit. I like that hat in the background. That's a good-looking hat. What team is that?
Brian, I think you muted your mic. Hey, Brian, I think your mic is muted. Can you hear me?
Oh, I'm sorry. My bad.
There you are.
Bad.
Go.
See, there you go. I made my rookie mistake. It's, there you go. Beginning of the week.
It was on our end last time, but we couldn't do anything about that one.
Yeah, that was my fault right there. I'm going to take blame on it. But George, yeah, what about our Braves this past one?
But we cannot let this slip away.
No, it's. I was talking today in the office here about, you have everything on the line and beat one of the best teams, if not the best team in baseball, with their pitching and their lineup, and then to lose to the Marlins last night, you get shut out. Just it's unbelievable. But hey, at the beginning of the weekend on Friday, we were sitting there saying, we hope that they just get 1 or 2 out of this series. So the fact that they swept them, that was a great job, George, for sure.
Bingo. Now tell me what's going on at your place besides the logo.
Well, besides that beautiful logo, want to let you know we are, believe it or not, man, it's with these rates that, kind of bouncing all over the place and, people are kind of uncertain. One of the things that I have heard, and this is something that I just wanted to try to make clear to these wonderful listeners that we have here, renting is an option as far as anything in real estate, but renting is not always the best option. Anytime that you own a home and you can draw equity on it, whether the interest rate is at 5 or whether the interest rate's at 6.5, the fact that you own that home, you are making an investment in that home. You're making an investment in your future. And renting from somebody is, to me, a temporary way of finding that new home for you and everything. I don't want to see people turn renting into a long-term thing, because I want to see them make money for themselves and their family and have an investment by going out and buying that home. Now, we all know that the interest rates are a little higher than what they were the past couple of years, but they're also not at the rates that we had in the 80s and the early 90s or the 70s. So, the rates will level back out. This is what we need for this market to kind of bring some balance back to it, to get the buyers some good options on these homes, to get them some incentive. Just like on a home that I put under contract this past weekend, we did closing costs. We did, doing some repairs, things like that. Buyers are finding good deals out there. But you got to get yourself out there, find you a great agent, and get on there and say, get out there and say, hey, I want to take an opportunity to invest in my future by buying that home. So, George, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep people motivated and keep them interested in buying that home and not just settling for a rental, because I hate to see people waste money. And I know we all are definitely finding ways to make money. So let's not just throw money away.
Amen. Good message. Appreciate it.
No worries, George. Hey, tonight we're taking care of business. Down with the fish. We're taking care of it tonight. NL East champions tonight.
Jake Odorizzi.
Yeah.
Yes,
Great.
thank you, Billy. Yes.
Thank you for that positive note. See you, Brian.
All right, guys, have a great night.
We'll go to the break, and then it's Plaster's Bet of the Day. Go 49ers. Man, they made me look good. This is Main Street Media Television.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports card, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards.
We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
It is about that time. It's time for Plaster's Bet of the Day, powered by Bart Durham Injury Law. They have aggressively protected the rights of a broad range of victims of car accidents and personal injury in both Tennessee and Kentucky. If you too have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, or at your workplace, let their attorneys do the work fighting for the full financial compensation that you need. You can learn more about the folks over at Bart Durham Injury Law by logging onto their website at bartdurham.com. George, let's take a look at some of your results from last night. You had not a two-team teaser, but I just like saying that. The Niners got it done for you, but the Braves lost to the Marlins. My goodness.
Listen, I should have stayed with the one because I felt really strong about it. Watson, it's not often that I have a really strong opinion and I have in my mind the reasoning why, and it turns out exactly the way I think it's going to. I said it last night. San Fran is going to bully the Rams, and that's exactly what they did. They just beat the hell out of them.
Yes. Jimmy's playing very good. They're using him right. And their defense, George, they're really quick. They're fast on defense, and they're going to be tough to beat. That is a very tough division, probably the toughest division in NFL. But I'm telling you now, I see them as the front runner right now.
I do too. And I think the big issue when you play the 49ers is not just the punishment they inflict on you, but what it does to you a week later. Because you've got a whole club in the tub, to quote my old buddy Frank Wycheck. The San Fran just physically punishes.
No, and that's what the Rams did to people last year. So they punished a team that likes to punish you. The philosophy of both these teams are the same. But it wasn't close. You watch that game and you say, they play 10 times, the 49ers are going to beat them 8.
So tonight is back to baseball. I'm going with a tried and true, even though I don't know how much the Dodgers care right now, but Julio Urias, in my mind, has been a great pitcher for them. Young left-hander. He's about 22 years old, and I think he will shut down Colorado tonight. I will tell you now that tomorrow I will have a pick on the SMU Central Florida game. It's a Wednesday night game that basically got moved because of the hurricane. And so, Watson, I'm going back to football. I seem to be doing better in football. I'm about baseballed out.
You don't want to mess much with the playoffs. That's a little different world, but I'm not sure that won't be a good one tomorrow night. So you're picking it tomorrow, right? You're not going to pick
Picking it tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
Strong opinion, not like San Fran. It's been a while since I've been that sure of a game. I just thought San Fran would bully the crap out of the Rams and just beat up their offensive line, and that's exactly what they did.
And they did, and Jimmy looks healthy. He looked quicker.
He looked good.
That's the best I've seen him look in probably 3 years. So yeah. I'm telling you, look out for this team. I'm talking about the whole NFL. This bunch, they're fast. I mean, they're really fast, George. They can rush the passer. They're linebacker secondary guys. Everybody can run. And Deebo Samuel might be the best player in the NFL.
He is.
That kid might be for sure. I'd say that. Would you not say he's the best offensive player throughout quarterbacks?
Yep.
Best offensive player in the NFL.
I'm with you.
Jeez.
Right there at the top. Watson, tomorrow on the show, Vanderbilt football coach Clark Lee at 4:20. Then we're going down to Baton Rouge at 5 o'clock. If you're a Tennessee fan, you're going to want to hear Matt Moscona, who really is wired into the LSU program, and we'll ask him the question, is their offense good enough to keep up with Tennessee's? Because that's why Tennessee is favored in this game. So tomorrow, want you to be here. Watson, you try to behave until then.
George, I'm going to see if I can get a coat that looks just like the one you got.
Brenda's you're going to have to shell out some bucks.
Brenda's going to take me shopping, and we're going to see if we can come up with one. Yeah. That's a nice-looking coat you got.
You do that. Yeah, sure. Billy?
I'm going to do the same. I'm going to see what I've got.
No, I think you just need to get a sport coat.
Oh, I've got one. Watson and I are going to come in the sport coats tomorrow.
Is it a hand-me-down?
Yes.
Oh, God,
half the stuff I have are hand-me-downs, George.
That. Oh, my God. I used to get on Willie so much about that.
Whatever.
No, we're not having that attitude from you. I don't know where we're ending this, but Watson, I think, you know what I think? Demerits for Billy.
Oh, give him some.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah, give him some.
8:30 in the morning. You be here. This is Main Street Media Television.